Well, Kyle, thanks for joining me here on our second version of this show. I want to start by reading the kind of about information on your YouTube channel instead of maybe just asking you all about it. I'll just read this and see how
Okay.
accurate it is. It
All
says
right.
it's obviously the channel is Geography King, and it says if you want the best information on U.S. geography and cross country road tripping, this is a channel for you. On this channel, you'll see videos that compare and contrast various places in the United States, ranking the best and worst cities and states in different categories, and profiles of individual cities and states. Also on this channel are videos about the best ways to road trip, the best places to see for short trips, for short visits, and general travel info from a nerdy perspective. I like that part. I've been on more than 20 cross country road trips this century and have learned a lot through the years. That's kind of the bulk of the video or of the channel description. And you've got over 240,000 subscribers, which is incredible. You've released
Yeah. Yeah.
252 videos and now have over 31 million views.
Yeah. That's
Um,
crazy. Yeah.
it looks like you started around 7 years ago. What's your background and how did you get started in YouTube?
Well, I've studied geography my whole life. So even when I was a little kid, I would read maps and atlases and just kind of be interested in learning about places. Studied geography in college. And then just out of college, I specialized in climatology. So I started off working in national disaster preparedness in South Carolina. Excuse me. I was at University of South Carolina. And then I was doing hurricane response preparedness and just evacuation kind of stuff. And then, uh, moved on from there. And then eventually got to the point where I had a job I liked, but I got laid off. I was bored, needed something to do, started a YouTube channel. That's kind of how it started. Just me just talking about road trips I'd been on, just showing, talking about geography stuff, just stuff I enjoy talking about. And yeah, it just took off from there. I see those numbers of the subscribers and views. I can't believe it. So it's been really cool. Yeah, it's been 7 years. That's a long time to be posting videos.
Awesome. I can remember being a kid on road trips with my family, and we had the Atlas, and I was kind of bored to death in the back seat. For these long drives, we would take family vacations, but the one thing is looking at the Atlas and looking at the geography or the states and the cities and the weird names of different places. How early on do you remember being fascinated by geography?
I was pretty young. I was probably 5, 6 years old with my dad's Atlas. It was one of those big, Rand McNally full size ones, and I would just be on my stomach on the ground reading it. And so I was pretty young. It's probably, single digit age when I knew all the countries and the capitals and all that kind of stuff. So I just took off from there, just learning the basic stuff at first, and then moving on to learning about the cultures and transport and just all kinds of stuff like that.
So I feel like one of your videos, can't remember how recent it is because I've watched, kind of when you watch YouTube channels, sometimes you watch a recent video and then sometimes you watch one from 3 years ago from the same person.
Yeah.
And I think it said you were living in Chattanooga. Is that where your home base
Yes.
is?
Yes.
And
I'm in Chattanooga.
are there videos that are local to Chattanooga or Tennessee that you are interested in, or do you more like to just look at the United States?
Strangely enough, I've done one video on Tennessee. It's almost like the places I know the most about or the place I live around, I speak about the least. So I've done very little on Georgia and Alabama. Just because I live here, I don't know, I feel like talking about other places, but I do have other stuff coming up, specific to Chattanooga. But yeah, most of my stuff lately has been more about the Midwest because it's where I was traveling a lot during last fall. So that's where most of my recent uh, images and just footage was from. So um, yeah, I have more stuff about the South in general coming up, and specifically Chattanooga. Yeah.
So as you're looking for ideas for videos, obviously where you're sitting right now, it seems like a familiar place to watch your videos is where you do a lot of the recording. Are you
Yes.
going out looking for research? Are you trying to do some videos where you're shooting on location, anything, or what are kind of how do you get ideas, for the videos you make?
I keep a spreadsheet of just the topics when I come up with one. Um, yes, if I think of something that's interesting, I'll write it down if I'm at the desk, or I'll just type it into my phone if I'm out somewhere. So I just, just depends on something that comes to my mind. Um, as far as filming in person, I do like doing that, but I kind of cringe sometimes. I don't want to be the selfie stick guy going through the crowded areas, and I don't know. I would like to do stuff in person just from a visual standpoint, but I do. It's tough for me to, from a personal, just to get in there and be that person in the crowds with the camera. It's just, I don't know. But I do have intentions of doing that in the near future because I got some big international trips coming up. So I want to do stuff in person for the international trips. So excited about that for sure.
I can definitely relate. Luckily, I go to places like ghost towns where there's no one there.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I was looking at your channel, and you got 4 videos that have over 1 million views. And did you, when those, I guess viral videos have happened, did you have any clue that was going to happen? And also, is that what really helped grow your channel? Was those particular videos, or has it been kind of a steady, kind of consistent growth?
It's been pretty steady. As far as the ones that have 1 million views, those are just ones that I have no idea how anything works, but YouTube put them out as recommendations. I've been doing this 7 years, couldn't tell you one way of how any of it works. So, but yeah, it was on a lot of people's home pages. People would log on to YouTube and see the one of Oddities of Geography, and it has 3 million views, I think. So, I mean, from my end, I didn't do anything differently. It's just YouTube put it out there. So, I mean, you might get a video that gets 200,000 views, you might get one that gets 20,000. So it's hard to, I mean, you know how it is, and that you don't know how it is, because that's just, it's all a mystery what how it all works. But it was growing pretty good. I think the one that took off the first caused people to go look back at some of the older videos. So it certainly helped with the growth, but the channel had already been growing. So it wasn't one video and then it just took off. So it was kind of more like growth and then a spike and then back to a kind of a higher plateau. But yeah, it was, I mean, it's crazy to see videos get over 1 million views. That's wild. I'm
halfway there on one video. So hopefully someday that'll get there. So
it just takes one. I mean,
yeah.
Because if I, for the longest time, half of my channel views were just one video. So I would have like 100 videos with, however many combined views, and that one other one had more. So it could just be one video that could break your whole channel, make it or break it.
Yeah. It's kind of fascinating. Yeah. So I found your channel because I actually went and visited and did a video about the Kentucky Bend. And then when I did that, there was an oddities video that you had made, and the Kentucky Bend was part of that video.
Oh, yes.
And so, I had never heard of it until I actually went there and saw it. And then I read, saw your video. And so that was interesting. So that's kind of how I found your channel, which is, always interesting how people find their channels. And then recently you did a series about the definitive ranking of the states, from 50 all the way to 1, which I watched every minute of and thought that was fascinating. That had to take a long time and a lot of research to put that series together.
Yeah, I was working on it for a few months. So I normally just do one video at a time, but for a few months I was doing whatever video and then part of that one just kind of as it went along. So yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. I like doing things from a little different angle than everyone has done a ranking of the states, but I like to do it a little bit differently. But yeah, when you went to the Kentucky Bend, because you do ghost towns, that's a bit of a ghost town there too. There's only a handful of people that live there, just a bunch of empty, wetland buildings.
Yeah, it was strange. And then and then I find your channel and all these oddities, and it's like, man, I want to go to every single one of these places. It's so strange and weird. And man, I'm like, anytime I need to find somewhere to go, I can just go to your channel, watch one of those videos, and if I'm anywhere in that area, I'm gonna maybe go visit. So I have people have said that, like, hey, I'm keeping a map of places I want to visit based on your ghost towns and stuff like that. So it's pretty fun to how that kind of the YouTube has connected people and given people kind of stuff to do in the same genre.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Do you have a favorite type of video to make? You've made oddity videos, or maybe you're going out to a location. Is there any one that's like it might not be the most popular, but you just love to put videos like that together?
In general, I would say the ones where there isn't much coverage on that topic. So I did a couple recently on islands, and that's just something that You know, there's just nobody else that had a video talking about different islands. And I like the ones that are international about other countries, but those definitely get the fewest views. I'll still post them, knowing that you talk about another country, you're not going to get as many views because I'm probably the same for you, but most of our subscribers are American. So when you start talking about, you know, I did one on the Gambia, it's not going to get as many views, but I like all of it. So I think part of the problem is that I'm a little bit too scatterbrained. I don't focus on one type of thing, and I get, you know, the next video will be something totally different from the previous one, which probably isn't good for channel continuity. But it's from my end, it's more fun to keep it fresh and just do different things each week.
Well, I think that's great to do what you want to do and to keep it fresh. And you know, I'm sure if there's an algorithm thing out there, I guarantee you my channel confuses it because, you know, I'll do, you know, all over the country, but I've also done exactly the same on your international comment. I had some old videos from South America and I just put one out because I still had the footage and I'm like, I'm gonna put that out sometime. Yeah, it was like the least popular video, you know, but I really liked it because I remember the trip and how, you know, rewarding it was to go to somewhere so different. And then this Christmas, I went to Florida and I had been fascinated by highlight, the sport of highlight, which is like this abandoned sport basically. And I did a video, once again, one of the least popular videos on my channel, but I'm really glad I made it because it's just kind of a quirky, weird thing. So I definitely get what you're saying. Okay, so one of your recent videos was about other countries' money.
Yes.
And it was and then I have a whole bunch of money too. And so I was going to show you a couple that I have. So first of all, if you haven't seen Kyle's video, you should go. He's got all kinds of different money from different countries. And it was fascinating to kind of watch that and to see how his comments on it. So this is Cambodian money. Oh, where's the camera? Okay, so this is Cambodian.
Oh, wow.
And it has like a politician or whatever on the front. But what I love is it has like the temples on the back.
That's nice. I like that.
There's another one, once again, with a politician, but it has this like dragon ship on the back.
That's pretty cool looking. Yeah, I like that.
But my favorite is Fiji. And this is Fiji. It's got a parrot on the front, which I thought was pretty awesome. And then you probably can't see it, but this is a $2 coin, and it also has a parrot. So birds.
I like the animals on the currency. I think that's, you know, a nice reflection of the nature, because no matter what changes in terms of, you know, people, the animals will still be, you know, the same iconic animals of that place. So yeah, I like all that kind of foreign currency and just to see how it all looks in different places.
And I have a pile of it. I have no idea how much it's worth. It's just, it may be worth $2 or it may be $500 sitting over there. I have no idea what it's worth. Yeah. So obviously geography and history kind of like intersect often. And I'd say my channel's maybe more history and yours is more geography. Mm-hmm. And when I was a kid, I loved geography, but I really didn't like history until later in my life. And I can't understand why, because they seem so related. But you liked geography early. Were you a history buff as a kid too, or did that come later, like me?
No, it was like you. I didn't take a liking to history the same way as I did with maps and geography, and honestly, to this day, I'm not as fascinated with, you know, a lot of history type stuff unless it's maybe a little more recent and has to do with how borders, you know, how geography was affected. So
how it happened.
Yeah, I respect the history and just how things got to be how they are now. But in terms of like medieval history or wars or ancient Greece, I mean, I probably don't know any more than you learn in high school.
Yeah. Well, and I'm certainly no expert. I like to tell people I'm like a fan of history. I'm definitely not an expert. You seem like an expert on geography. I'm a fan of geography. And so definitely why I probably enjoy watching your channel so much, because I'm a fan just like a lot of other people. So how is I noticed a lot of your videos, you'll make a comment and you'll say, well, this was suggested by a comment or a user, or, you know, in the comment section. How is as your channel has grown, and I was talking to Steve from Sidetrack Adventures last time, you know, how has your relationship with people in your comments, have there been people there that you've become friends with from early on of your channel? Steve talked about how he's gotten to the point it's so large that he can't keep up with the comments. It's a difficult thing, but obviously you're keeping up with them enough to get suggestions for videos.
Yes, I mean, I still try to read all the comments. It's difficult. I mainly focus on when I post a new video to at least get the comments from the subscribers that watch within the first day. But yeah, like Steve was saying, it can get, if you post a popular video, it has 500 comments. You're not going to be able to get to it. So, yeah, I do read, at least try to read the vast majority of them and respond to the ones that are, a question to me or something specifically a comment to me. And yeah, there have been people that have been commenting for years. So it's pretty cool to know that there are people that have been there since there were just a couple thousand subscribers who are still there. So yeah, there's been plenty of people that I've had a chance to meet in person as well. I've done some questions on the streets where I interview people, just geography questions, and I've met a few subscribers that way too. So yeah, it's cool. You do this long enough and then you'll meet people, whether in person or electronically. And it's, you really appreciate the folks that have, been there the whole time. They were at the channel when it was just nothing, but just enjoying the videos, and they're still enjoying the videos now. So I try to keep it up, and, but yeah, it's always appreciative the people that have been with you for a while.
Yeah. I had a video recently where I had been in this ghost town and somebody recognized me from, and my channel is much smaller than yours. It's 10 times, which is 10 times the size of mine. So somebody recognizing me is very rare. And, but I was an athlete, a good athlete, and I had been recognized my whole life as an athlete or a coach. And so being recognized for this is a little strange, and it's a little awkward, like to interact or how to even, respond, because you're not used to literally someone recognize you. And the guy, I made a joke of it on the video because the guy said to his wife, "Hey, honey, we met somebody famous today." And I'm like, I am definitely not, I am not bald and bankrupt or anything like that. So one of those guys who got 3 million subscribers. But yeah, it's always kind of a odd, strange time when you meet somebody that knows you, or they think they kind of know you from your persona on YouTube. But obviously you're probably different than that in life.
Yeah.
So last couple questions. Do you have a favorite road trip that sticks out in your head? You said you did like 20 cross-country road trips in the past century. Is there one that sticks out? Like, man, that one was just a blast.
I mean, they've all been good. I've been fortunate enough to where none of them have been a disaster with anything really bad happening. But I think the best ones have been the ones with my wife. I do a lot of solo tripping because people don't have as much free time as I do. But the ones I get to go with my wife are really nice. And those have involved national parks and camping. So I do love visiting cities and towns and walking along the beach and stuff. But I like to get back in the woods and go camping and hiking. So the ones where we visited national parks, especially the Four Corners area, the five Utah national parks, Grand Canyon, and that area was just a really, really great trip.
It's so beautiful out there in the West and the Southwest.
Yeah,
I love it out there. Yeah. You were kind of mentioning about going international on some trips and things like that. Any kind of, I don't know, not spoilers, but anything you want to give the fans that, anything coming up in the future, any trips or any videos that might be particularly interesting that you're working on?
Yeah, I will be actually next month. I'll be in Denmark and Germany, so I'm going to try my hand at some in-person filming there. We'll see how that goes. I don't speak either Danish nor German, so we'll see how that goes. My wife speaks a little bit of German, but the big trips we're making are going to be in December. We're going to be in Morocco and also other parts of West Africa. So I'm looking forward to going back. I was just in Senegal and the Gambia in West Africa, so I'm going to be going back and just looking forward to going to new places and just getting to the point in my life where it's the big trips, the once in a lifetime kind of trips. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, people ask me like where I want to go, and I go wherever I've not been. It's kind of like if there's somewhere I haven't been, I kind of want to go there, and I probably don't need to go again. But I want to go to where else I haven't been.
That's right. Yep.
So you kind of, is it once a week that you release videos, or is there a regular schedule? It seems like about weekly. Is that right?
It's about weekly, but from the very beginning, I wasn't going to hold myself to a schedule. I knew that if I did, it'd be stressful for me. I know everyone's mentalities are different, everyone's personalities. Some people need that kind of schedule, but for me, I'm just roughly every week. I try to get it every 6 to 8 days, but it isn't always exactly. But if it's going to be 2 weeks, I'll usually leave a comment saying, hey, I mean, there's no video this week I'm out of town or whatever, but roughly weekly.
Yeah. Well, it seems like there's always for me, I always see about it, like I said, every week. So didn't know if there was a regular schedule.
Yeah.
So last question. And what are some YouTube channels or some of your favorite channels you like to watch? Is there anything that anytime it pops up, you're like, man, I'm pretty much watching that channel almost every time?
Yeah, actually, a lot of what I watch the most are channels not in the genre, but within the genre, I like Road Guy Rob. He does a lot of stuff with road construction and traffic movement in cities. I like a lot of the urban planning channels, the ones that talk about transit and neighborhoods. What else? I like some of the I don't remember the name of it, but it's very wildlife oriented, talking about a lot of animal stuff. I like animals. So, but yeah, that's a lot of what I do. Animals and cars. A lot of my videos or all the ones I watch are about cars. So
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll put those on the bottom of the screen, and so people can find those. And and also you're on Instagram. So Geography King _ is
yes.
what I think.
I don't. Yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember it myself, but yes.
And so he's on Instagram, and then Patreon. You're on Patreon too, Geography King. How does that work? Is there anything in the Patreon that people that subscribe to that get that's not on the YouTube channel?
My Patreon is low. What do you call it? Low value. People aren't doing like $20 a month kind of thing. So I don't have any kind of special videos or exclusive content for Patreon. I didn't want to put myself on the hook for stuff, so I don't want to take people's money and then give nothing in return. So it is Patreon, but it's not the big tiers, because I feel like I would be kind of like a schedule with the videos, almost like too much pressure to have something up, and I'd feel bad if people that are paying Patreon weren't getting much out of it. So, but no, I don't do special content on that. Although I might do something in the future that's with the channel memberships, but that's through YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm always a little wishy-washy on stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't done Patreon, but I did turn on the the super thanks button on here. Yes. So if people are watching this, because I've had people say, how can I support your channel? And there was no way to do it except for to watch.
Yeah, hit the super thanks, guys. It's right there.
There you go. And I'm guessing you have that on yours. And so that's one way to support. It's kind of like a Patreon kind of thing where it's just people want to support you and are appreciative, and they're able to give you a couple bucks here and there. Yeah. So anyways, well, hey, thanks a lot. This was a lot of fun, and hopefully we can do this again. And definitely a huge fan. I just your videos are very straightforward. There's it's you coming on, and here we go right into the video, and I really like that. I think a lot of people like just getting into the videos, and there's not a lot of fluff, and it's just, I think that's great. You were talking about you always say from a nerdy perspective, and a lot of us can relate to that. So appreciate all your hard work on the.
Cool. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you, and I'm glad to be on here. And if you ever make it to East Tennessee, there are some pretty cool ghost towns that were buried under Tennessee River when they flooded it. So.
Absolutely. I did a couple Tennessee videos, and they were pretty well received over Christmas. So I definitely have to get out to Tennessee again, and we'll try to connect.
All right, cool, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.